When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. This is Goodhart's law, and it shows up everywhere in business, education, health, even in your personal goals. Metrics are useful tools, but they're terrible masters. If you chase the number instead of the outcome, you'll get the number, but often lose the very thing the number was supposed to represent. In this episode, we'll unpack how to use measures as signals without letting them hijack your mission. Welcome back to Spark and Hustle, Unleashing Success in Business, Life, and Beyond. I'm your host, Puneet Kaur. Today, we're diving into Goodhart's Law. Why metrics get gamed, why KPIs often mislead, and how to focus on outcomes that actually matter. Because here's the truth. If you only chase the metric, you'll win the number and lose the game. A little bit about Goodhart's Law. What is it? Well, it was first coined by the economist Charles Goodhart in 1975. His warning was simple. Once a measure becomes a target, people start gaming it. And once they game it, it loses its accuracy as a true measure. Think about it. Measures are supposed to be proxies, signals pointing towards the real outcome you want. But the moment you take the measure itself as the goal, people optimize for the wrong thing. You stop chasing the meaning, you start chasing the metrics. In business, it shows up everywhere. For example, sales quotas. When companies set quotas, reps may push bad deals or inflate numbers just to hit targets instead of building long-term customer value. KPIs. If you only measure output, like emails sent or calls made, people focus on quantity over quality. Social media. If businesses obsess over how many followers they have, you may get fake engagement instead of creating authentic influence. Perfect example is the Wells Fargo scandal. Employees were pressured to hit account creation metrics, so they created fake accounts. The metric looked good. The outcome was catastrophic. Goodhart's Law also shows up in education and parenting. Schools are judged by standardized test scores. They end up teaching to the test. And students may score higher, but often lose the real understanding. Parents who only reward grades risk raising children who chase gold stars, not knowledge. The measure, the test scores, grades was supposed to represent learning, but when it becomes the only target, true learning gets sidelined. You see this in personal life too. Fitness. People obsess over the number on the scale instead of actual health. So they starve, crash diet, or cheat the system. The number drops, but the health doesn't improve. Productivity. People measure hours worked instead of impact. So they fill time with busy work, check boxes, templates, and burnout without creating meaningful results for the business. Metrics are seductive. They feel like progress, but unless you tie to meaning, they're illusions. So, case studies, right? We just touched on. One is Wells Fargo. We talked about fake accounts to hit targets. Metric is the success, failure of the mission. Teaching to the test for schools. Higher scores, weaker understanding. Social media growth hacks. More followers, less trust. These stories reveal same truth. If you are going to chase a metric, make it your master, you're going to lose the sight of the truth you're behind, which is the mission. So how do you use metrics without being trapped by them? Here's a framework we can look at. First is define the mission. What's the true outcome you want? Health, learning, impact, trust. Choose measures as signals. Pick metrics that point towards the mission, but never confuse them with the mission. Audit regularly. Ask, is this metric still telling me the truth or has it become the goal? Balance quantitative with qualitative. Numbers show patterns, but stories reveal meaning. This keeps you chasing the mission, not the metric. So, metrics, we're going to use them as useful tools. We will not let them become our target and master us and let them betray us. Thank you for paying attention to Spark and Hustle and making time in your day. And we're going to talk about a book, which is, it's a very fun book. I'm a very KPIs, metrics-driven person myself. I always believe in results matter more than discussions and talk and all that good stuff. So when I read this book, it definitely was very illuminating for me. The book is called The Tyranny of Metrics by Jerry Z. Muller. So he explores how the obsession with the measurement can distort performance and corrupt institutions. He argues that while metrics can be useful, they often incentivize people to game the system. Instead of improving outcomes, metrics become the outcome. So he provides examples from education, healthcare, business, policing, and military. In each case, he shows how measurement backfires when used as the main target. So the book's core lesson echoes with the Goodhart's law, which is measurement should inform judgment, not replace it. Here are 2 quotes from the book that I want you to ponder. Not everything that is important is measurable, and much that is measurable is unimportant. The problem is not measurement per se, but the over-reliance on measurement as the only form of accountability. If this episode made you rethink your goals, share it with someone who's drowning in metrics but starving for meaning. Stay bold, stay soft, and keep going.